Okay, good day, everyone. My great listeners, welcome to this short or brief seminar, if I put it that way, or a brief talk on tips on successful Jamb scores on your board. Tips on successful Jamb score. So that is our focus. What should I do, or what must I do to have a very good outing in Jamb as a student? What are the tips that is expected of you? And so, however, our focus will be on chemistry as a subject, tips on successful Jamb score in chemistry. But we must build a foundation first before we begin to talk what must you do to have a good outing in chemistry especially. Now, it is interesting to note that Jamb 2024, which is Jamb this year, will commence April 19th to April 29th. So, Jamb exam starts April 19th to 29th of April 2024. So tentatively, that is the date for Jamb for this year. So which means the year has already started. Today is 3rd, meaning that before you know now, January is already gone. So we're left with January, February, March. So we are barely left with just, let's just say 3 months, because I won't count April as part of the month anymore. So we are left with just barely 3 months to make necessary preparation towards a successful outing in Jamb. Remember, in the book of 2 Timothy 2:15, it said, "Study to show thyself approved, a workman that needed not to be ashamed." Study to show thyself approved, which means the word study, to show thyself. That means if you must allow yourself, if you want your light to shine, if you want to have a successful outing, then what you must do is study. Now, you can't rule out the role of study in a successful outing in Jamb. There's no miracle anywhere. So don't let anybody deceive you that there's one miracle you will do to have a great score in Jamb without study. Study is the key word. You must study. You must study. So now, having said that, we have just barely 3 months to the exam. And because of that, you also know that your Jamb exam or your Jamb CBT exam is computer-based. When we say computer-based, that means that word CBT means computer-based test. So Jamb is a CBT exam. That means computer-based test. It is basically written on a system. Those days of using pen and paper for Jamb is gone. And even now, I'm hearing that WAEC is even trying to still toe the same line with Jamb, trying to introduce WAEC CBT. So you see that the world is gradually turning towards technology. So it is important you know this. Now, let's start with the first step or first tip you must do. Note that since Jamb exam is a CBT, like I said, it is important for you to learn how to use a computer. You must learn how to use a computer because the Jamb exam is written on the system. So if you don't know how to use a computer, it becomes a challenge. Thank God, most schools these days have computer lab. And so in case your school don't have a computer lab, look for somewhere where you can begin to just have access to a computer, learn the basics of the computer, get yourself acquainted to it so that you remove that phobia. Because some persons over the years, if you go to some schools, some rural areas or some villages, whereby the students are not privileged to use a system or to use a computer, if I must use that word, when they want to go and write Jamb, most of the times it is the day of exam that's their first time or their second time of having access to a computer. So you see that those kind of students begin to have phobia, they have fear. And once you have fear for anything, fear gradually sap out your confidence in you. So no matter what you have read, if you're having one iota of fear or doubt in yourself, when you walk into the examination or you see something and say, I had blackout. I had blackout. Why are they having blackout? It's because of fear. Most times that is the reason why some students have issues. And then, so you must, like I said, so the first tip is learn how to use a computer. That's tip number one. That's the most important thing. Tips. We could say number one, learn how to use a computer. You should learn how to use a computer. And then, having said that, since if you know how to use a computer, now the next tip to do is you should learn or solve questions with speed. You should learn how to solve questions with speed on your CBT exam. Remember, you should learn how to solve your question with speed. Now, why is that so? So I'm going to link up this one now. Is learn to solve questions using CBT with speed. Why is that so? It is because your exam or your CBT exam, your Jamb CBT exam is time. The maximum hour or the maximum time allocated for each student for Jamb is 2 hours. You are allocated 2 hours. I'm going to clean this. Let me just do something now. I want to bring something to your knowledge. It is very important you know this so you will not go there and think you have all the time in the world. You see the first question, you are crossing your leg and still trying to pray. It's good to pray when you start the exam, but don't now pray. You are praying 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you are still praying before you settle down. Time is going. So you should know that your exam is timed 2 hours. Now, take note of this. You are writing 4 subjects, for example. Your subject combination, let's say we have English, biology, chemistry, and physics. Note this, English is a compulsory subject for all students, and English has 60 questions. 60 questions. Every other question are 40 in number. See, for example, now biology, 40 questions. So like I was saying, biology has 40 questions. 40 questions in biology. Chemistry as well as 40 questions. The physics also have 40 questions. So in all, if you check, you have a total of 180 questions. 180 questions for you to attempt. And these 180 questions, you are timed, like I said, your time is 2 hours. 2 hours is 420 minutes. So you have 120 minutes. And the interesting thing about this is once you open your system, if you are familiar with this and you have been using your test driller app or somewhere else to get there, you realize that when time you open your CBT system, your time is at the right hand, the top side. You see your time, 120 minutes, counting down. So the time is just there. Once the time allows, it automatically shuts you off and submits for you. But don't let that happen to you. So to prevent that, you should know, since you have 180 questions and you have 120 minutes, if you do your little mathematics there, you have an average of 0.67 seconds. So average time per question is 0.67 seconds. Or 0.67 minutes, rather. Minutes. So you have 0.67 minutes. That is less than a minute to answer each question. So what you do is, remember, we are trying to see how to work with speed and accuracy so that you will finish before your time. So you have just less than a minute to answer your 180 questions. This tip is coming as a result of solve question with speed. Now, having said that, the number of time you have left. So now, how do I now go about it? Because physics has a lot of calculations. Chemistry in between, you see some calculations. Maybe biology and English have no calculation. How do you now work with that time? For example, physics have more of calculation. With each calculation question, can you finish such question in less than a minute? So this will take us to my next tip, which is SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis. That's my next tip. The SWOT analysis is called strength, weakness, opportunity, and then threat. So what does this mean? Remember, you are having an average time of 0.67 minutes to answer 180 questions. So how do you achieve this? Even if you do this calculation very well, 0.67 times 180 will be giving me exactly 2 hours, which is not even supposed to give you. I'm supposed to finish with about, still have like 10 minutes remaining so that you have time to go through your work again. So meaning that you have to fight as much as possible to beat this time down to about 0.5 minutes, which means 50 seconds, about 50 seconds to answer a question. Now, because of that, you should learn how to use your SWOT analysis, your strength, weakness, opportunity, and strength. You have 4 questions, 4 subject areas: English, physics, chemistry, biology. Remember, English has more, 60 questions. I'll also get to grading now. The strength is which of these subjects is your strength? If your strength is in English, work quickly on your strength. Build on your strength so that don't start with your weakness, because your weakness will take all your time. So build on your strength. If your strength is in English, if your strength is in physics, start with that subject of your strength. Then your weakness, we'll come to that one. Opportunity, there are some subjects that you check. Okay, for example, English. Since English has no calculation, that means I can finish my English with less than 40 seconds per question. That is the window of opportunity you work on. Use any subject that you think has lesser calculation, lesser time, and use that as your opportunity, your window of opportunity to have more time. Then the one that you think is your threat, there are some questions that when you see them, it will take you like 2-3 minutes to solve. You can skip that. Later you come back to that one, because that subject or those questions are threat questions, which are more or less like a pitfall. They are just there to just consume your time. If you think deep, you will see the answer. But those kind of questions you will not have because of time. You can skip those ones and come back and do it. So remember, start with your subject or strength. If there's any window of opportunity, use it. Then your weakness, work on your weakness. Now, how do you work on your weakness? The earlier you start doing it, the better. Now, let's now go again to another area that will help us to have a clear view. How is Jamb scored? How do we get the grading for Jamb? Remember, I'm trying to work with time because I'm less time, so don't mind my speed. So we're looking at again, what is the grading system? Grading system. Jamb is scored over 400. And if I ask most of you, what is your desired score? So people will tell me 350. Some will say 300. Some will say 320. Nobody wants to score less than your desired score. Now, how do you get that desired score? How does Jamb get their grading system? Let's quickly look at an example. Now, again, I'll come to this set of subjects: English, physics, chemistry, and biology. Now, remember, English has 60 questions. The rest are 40 questions. 40 questions and 40 questions. Now, how is the grading system like? Say, for example, a student got 40 score in English. This 40 score in English will be converted to percentage, that is times 100, which will give me I'll do the same thing. Let's say, for example, now a child got 32 in physics. Chemistry, he got 35. Biology, he got 26. That is how it is graded, 100, 100. So if you do this 40, that should give you about 67 approximately. This 32 should give us 88. This should give us 75, and this should give us 70. Altogether, that will give me 300 over 400. So you see, Jamb score, you will now see serious student scores, you say, 75, 88, and the rest. Is this score like? So you should know that if, for example, your English is where your strength is, Jamb is so interesting to pass, very easy, because some subjects can be used as a leverage to be built upon. Say, for example, you are having 90 in English, and you're having 50 in chemistry, or you're having 50 in another subject. Because of that good score in that subject that you have gotten one, it will cover for the other one. So don't give up easily. Now, this is how the grading system works. Having said that, let's now look at again another tip that is very important that will help you is have or create a study timetable. Create a study timetable. Have a personal timetable of your own, such that today I will know this is what I'm going to study. Tomorrow, this is what I want to study. And this timetable of yours, when you create it, try as much as possible to study alongside with Jamb syllabus. Don't just study vague. Don't just study openly. It's good to read, but when you are reading, try as much as possible to have a guide. If today, what you want to do today is English, get the syllabus for English. Okay, today I want to cover lessons and structure. Or let's say, for example, since our focus is chemistry, you want to study chemistry today, for example, now. Today's topic is electrolysis. Then you will now you study electrolysis as a subject, as a topic holistically. Don't you do electrolysis in 1 hour. The next 2 minutes, again, you are jumping to another topic. Next 2 minutes, you are jumping, you say, this electrolysis is too difficult for me to understand. You drop it, you jump to another one. No. You have a study timetable, working with it, build on it, and work with it alongside with Jamb syllabus. Then, next thing again is download past questions. Download past questions. It's very important you have past questions by your side. Now, because Jamb is computer based, it is good for you to have past questions in your tablets, in your phones. If you have an Android phone, you can use the Android phone. You can have the app on your phone. I'll tell you the app now. Try as much as possible to download this app. Test Driller. Test Driller. This app is what is designed. It will help you a lot. Test Driller. Once you download, just the UTME Test Driller. Go to your Google Play Store or your iOS phone, your Apple phone. Just type Test Driller, you will see it. Download it and use it to practice. Then, aside the app, you also get the normal past question, preferably Prep 50. Get Prep 50 for your subject combination. Your 4 subjects get Prep 50. Why do I say Prep 50? I prefer Prep 50 because Prep 50 questions are on topical basis. If you are doing gas law in chemistry, that's your topic you are reading. After you have studied gas law, go to your Prep 50, you will see gas law as a topic. You will see all the questions that Jamb have set so far in gas laws. Use it to evaluate yourself. That is how it's been done. The same thing for the app. If you are using the app, you can also use the same method. But the app might not have maybe light at the moment, or your phone might be down, or your laptop might be down. What do you now afford? Use your normal Prep 50 to help you assess that. So these are just general tips on how to pass Jamb. Now let's focus. Remember, our focus is on chemistry as a subject. Now, on chemistry as a subject, what are those topics that I need to cover? Because not every time you might not have the privilege to have the syllabus handy. So what are those topics that if I cover this topic to some degree, I am confident that yes, obviously you cannot enter an examination hall in chemistry without not seeing these questions or these topics which you are about to list now. So if you can cover those topics, using them, evaluating yourself on them, then you know you are closer achieving success is your goal. Now, what are those selected topics to cover in chemistry? Number one, I'll just list them quickly. So let's just say selected topics to be covered. To be covered means that does not mean you should not cover other topics. You can just look at. So the first one is particulate nature of matter. Particulate nature of matter. 2, chemical industries. 3, acid, base, and salts. 4, gas laws, separation techniques. 5, electrolysis, electrochemical cell, periodic table, so I'm going to clean up, but let me just run through them so you, in case you cannot see the board. The first one there was particulate nature of matter. Under particulate nature of matter, you see atoms, atomic theory, how to calculate mass number, isotopy, and the rest. Proton number, electron number. Then also chemical industries. Under chemical industries, what you will see there are fine chemicals, heavy chemicals, definition, those factors to be considered when citing chemical industries, and the advantage of chemical industry to economy and the rest. Then acid, base, and salt. Under acid, base, and salt, various definition of acid, base, definition of salt, how to calculate. So like I was saying, acid, under acid, base, and salt, it's very of you to know the various definition of acid, base, as well as salt. Then for gas laws, obviously all the gas laws, separation techniques, electrolysis, electrochemical cell, periodic table. So also, these are not, let's add some other topics as well, which is you are expected to get into. We also have energy changes in chemical reaction. Chemical equilibrium. Empirical formula and molecular formula. Stoichiometry. Although some textbooks might call this one mass volume relationship. Organic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry. Water. Radioactivity. 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 Then we also have solution and solubility. Yeah. Then for your inorganic chemistry, you should focus more on sulfur and its compound. Sulfur and its compound. Hydrogen, chlorine, nitrogen, calcium, or that calcium is other metals. Calcium, can also look at alloys as well. So if you focus on that. So these are some of the selected topics. So there's no way you will go for chemistry Jamb and you will not see questions from these areas that we have listed. 1 or 2 or 3 questions from each of these. Just remember, chemistry questions are just 40 questions, but those 40 questions are so unique that it will cover virtually almost everywhere. Now, in organic chemistry also, you should learn how to name compounds, that is naming organic compounds, know your methane, your alkanes, your alkanols, alkanoids, esterification, maybe giant molecules, then fermentation and the rest. So I wish you all the best. If you follow these few tips judiciously, following them, reading them, studying. Remember, like I started the class or the session, it is important that you study. That is the only way out. There's no way out. There's no shortcut to success. The only shortcut to success is study. So if you study well, you will pass well. And I know that will be your portion in Jesus' name. See you next time and have a great day. God bless you all.